Hello, this is Chris Frangiosa from ASA. This webinar is hosted by the American Sport Fishing Association, a trade association of the recreational fishing industry. At ASA, we provide advocacy, tools, and connections our members need to grow and thrive. This is the first in a series of our webinars that we have planned to help you prepare your business to maximize your success by providing superior customer experience. This first webinar talks about surveys that show anglers often depend on retailers to prepare them to fish. We're going to learn more about this with Patrick Hogan. Patrick is the president and owner of Southwick Associates, an economic and market research firm which studies the hunting, fishing, and outdoor recreation industries. We're looking forward to this first webinar. Patrick, take it away.
We had a question at the top of the survey. In general, would you consider yourself to be someone who could use more information or more support related to fishing equipment, techniques, or location, or other similar information to become more confident in your fishing? So those who responded yes are the ones that we're going to talk to throughout the rest of this presentation. Those who responded no, like there's a segment of folks who feel like they have enough information, they have enough understanding of tools and techniques, they don't really need anything. We're setting them aside for the purpose of the study so we can again identify opportunities to connect anglers that have a need with retailers that can satisfy that need. So among that key audience, those anglers who have a need, there's one key finding. When we asked new and novice anglers what sort of support or information would be most helpful, about 3/4 of our new and novice anglers said that they just need to know where to go. They have passion, they have equipment, they have interest. They just need to be pointed in the right direction to get on the water. It's the number one thing they're looking for. So it's going to be a theme that we come back to over the course of this presentation. A few other key takeaways that end up supporting this information about where to fish locally finding. We're going to look into the future for just a moment and hear from lapsed anglers why they stopped fishing, right? So if we're thinking about, okay, what do new anglers need and what was missing from that lapsed angler's experience that caused them to lapse? Those who stopped fishing within the past few years would have kept fishing if they had someone to go with or if they knew where to go. We know that that social component is critical. It's a big piece of the puzzle. There's a huge body of research indicating that an invitation from a friend or a family member can get folks on the water. If the goal of this work is to connect retailers that have resources and anglers that have a need, what's floating to the top for us here is this bolded part, information about local places to fish nearby. That critical bit, also critical is the social bit, but lapsed anglers quit fishing because they didn't know where to go. We asked those who buy fishing equipment online about the possibility of getting them to brick and mortar establishments. What can we do to drive traffic that way? Not because we're interested in changing purchasing habits at all. We asked the same question in the other direction. Those who shop in store, what can be done to get you to shop online? Just to try and understand how retailer interactions shape consumer preferences and buying habits. And we wanted to understand the relationships that new and novice anglers have with all types of retailers. And about a third of those who spend most of their dollars online said, well, I'd go in store if I could talk to someone to get more information about where to fish locally, right? Like there's a local component that exists in that brick and mortar establishment that's tied to a location, that if they can extract value from that local knowledge, they'd be spending their dollars there instead of. And then lastly, those who stopped fishing recently said they would get back into fishing if they had information about convenient, safe, and accessible places to fish nearby. So again, the slide that I had just a few moments ago with the table shows us what new and novice anglers need. They want to know where to go. And we know that the lack of information drove lapsed anglers to participate in other activities, to leave fishing. We could be slowing that churn rate. We could be reactivating lapsed anglers by connecting them with local knowledge about safe, convenient places to go fishing. A few more top line findings. As we're thinking about what goes into the tackle box, the suite of resources that'll help retailers navigate these relationships. One of the findings that served as a motivation for the study, was that there's a disconnect between the new and novice angler not really feeling welcome at a store. We want to know how those customers, those new and novice anglers who have a need for information, who are looking for some sort of support, how would they prefer to engage with staff at a tackle shop? Um, Thinking about their experience, do younger folks strongly prefer to talk to a younger staff member? Do women prefer to talk to a staff person who's a woman? Would people of color prefer to talk to a staff member who's a person of color? And the answer across the board is no. They just want someone to listen to them, offer helpful advice. They're looking for someone who is knowledgeable and patient that can help guide them in their fishing journey. And this is huge. First of all, I think this is unexpected for me, but it's a very empowering finding that I think can help motivate staff to engage in conversations without feeling intimidated by talking to someone who might look different from. But truly, at their core, the expert angler who's the staffer at the tackle shop and the new angler who's searching for information are both just two people who want to have fun on the water and catch a few fish. And so this finding for me really serves to break down barriers to like starting these conversations. Many new anglers end up going to big box stores with questions about where to fish and can have experiences there that don't totally satisfy that need and feel like that in-person interaction didn't really help them in the way they were hoping. On the other hand, we were talking to folks about experiences at small local tackle shops, and we found that they had great experiences, they had great conversations, but they're in the minority regarding where it is the new novice anglers are going. They're by and large going to big box shops where they're having a less than stellar experience. So, how can we help get information to folks regardless of where they're shopping in brick and mortar establishments? Um, Something that we'll tackle in just a moment. Lastly, considering how retailers can have conversations with anglers once they are out the door. Um, New and novice anglers have told us how they want information delivered, how they want to engage with retailers. They like online videos, email newsletters, and social media content. I'm again going to go back to my favorite slide to describe what new and novice anglers need. They want information delivered via online videos, newsletters, and social media. They need information about local places to go nearby where they can catch fish. They want some understanding of what to expect when they get there. What sort of equipment should they be using in order to catch fish in this spot? What species can be found? Just any of that sort of local knowledge to help arm them with enough information to be successful, have fun, continue fishing. Um, and considering how ASA can facilitate that transfer of knowledge, we've come up with a few recommendations. So we're tying the what and the how components together here. Um, Email newsletters, again, the second most preferred method of communication that new and novice anglers stated. Great tool to deliver local knowledge to customers. Um, it's something to keep the tackle shop top of mind for anglers, keep the name in front of the customer, and support their continued participation. Again, we know what they need, just they need to know where to go fish. We know from lapsed anglers that they left because they didn't know where to go fish. We know they'd come back if they knew where to go fish. Um, Video content helping those new and novice anglers understand where to fish and maybe build a little bit of confidence that they know what to expect when they get to a fishing spot. They know that they can fish from the banks because it looks like this, or they know that there's plenty of piers or docks, or that there's the opportunity to rent vessels, whatever it may be. Um, Helping build confidence so that they feel comfortable going to a new place to engage in fishing. And then supporting conversation in person. Again, we want retailers to feel empowered by the finding that anglers who are looking for support don't necessarily care if they're talking to someone who looks like them. They just want to talk to someone who will listen to their questions, not judge them for being a new angler who might not know the difference between certain products or bait caster or spinner, whatever it may be. They might feel intimidated. They want to be met by staff who listen, are patient, are not judgmental, and provide them with like real helpful answers. They just want good guidance, and they don't necessarily care how they get that good guidance. So, to support this, ASA has shared some resources on their newly created customer engagement tackle box, which I have a screenshot of. I'm sure we'll send a link in a follow-up email. Um, on the tackle box, there are links to sign up for future webinars. There will soon be recordings of past webinars, so that if you end this webinar and think, I'd really love to hear Patrick Hogan from Southwick Associates talk again, you can access this recording and hear me as often as you'd like. Um, and then with specific regard to the findings of this study, ASA has created a resource for creating email newsletters. So again, the recommendations: creating email newsletters to connect anglers with places to fish nearby, sharing video content, supporting conversation in person. Uh, One of these, the email newsletter component feels like it's got the highest ROI and is the place where we can lean in the most to provide support for those retailers. So ASA is placed in their tackle box a guide to help retailers get information out to new and novice anglers. Um, I'm certain that some retailers are already doing this, already doing a fantastic job of this. And for those retailers, these resources can be used to identify any opportunities to like sharpen some of those communications. This could be seen maybe as like best practices, maybe, or how we could sort of add new components to it to get at that local places to fish. For those retailers not already doing this, the tackle box provides you with everything you need to like start supporting regular newsletters. There's templates, there's examples, there's lots of ideas for how to keep this going. Whether it's done monthly, quarterly, at the beginning of each distinct season, that's not important. Whether it contains a coupon to be redeemed in store, that's not important. Whether there's any videos, that's not important. But what is important is to recognize that we have the answers to the test. We have the local knowledge, and we need to make sure that new and novice anglers continue spending time on the water by accessing some of our local knowledge. And so this tool helps to impart that local knowledge. And that's the charge. ASA has provided a fantastic starting point to make this really easily approachable. So let's share our information and keep new and novice anglers on the water. And with that, I think we have Q&A here in just a second. But before I open it up to questions, I'm going to throw it to ASA to go back over anything on the customer engagement tackle box that you'd like to highlight that I might not have highlighted. Again, Patrick
Absolutely.
Hogan, Southwick Associates. Yeah, take it away, John.
Absolutely. Thanks, Patrick. I'm John Stillwag. I'm Director of Communications at the American Sport Fishing Association. Patrick did a great job of describing what's on the new customer engagement tackle box. But I'd like to invite everybody to go to asafishing.org and click on that education tab. In addition to the new tackle box, you'll see a lot of other content that's got some great information for retailers, whether they're interested in data and analytics or improving your bottom line. We're really excited about the new customer engagement tackle box. As Patrick said, we've got invitations to upcoming webinars. As webinars are completed, we'll be posting them to the site. So, if you want to share them with your staff or with a colleague or another business in your area, you can do that. And then we just posted the content on the newsletter creation, and there's quite a lot of information there. As Patrick said, there's a blank form that you can copy and use what you want from. There's also a sample that shows what it might look like with all the fields filled out, what type of information you can be passing along. And then there's a kind of a fun document for 10 tips and tricks for being effective, and some pretty clear instructions on how to use all that stuff. So I invite you to check it out. Again, that's under the education tab at asafishing.org. And thanks everybody for joining today. Chris?
Thanks, guys. Patrick, that was great. Thanks, John. Well, I just thank you everyone for coming to today's webinar. The next webinar is going to be a really great one. It's actually being done by me, so I'm excited about it. That's next week, 3/18. It's all about training and a successful and motivated team. So we're going to talk about hiring strategies, staff retention, how to motivate the team, how to retain the team. We're going to dig in deep on that one. So it's a really important topic. I look forward to meeting with everyone and answering everyone's questions and really digging in. So again, thanks for joining this first webinar. We look forward to the future. And Patrick, thanks again.
Thank you. And yeah, thanks to ASA for the venue.
All right, take care, everyone. Thank you.